Special person in Topeka Public Schools and in our community. She carries the message of the history of Topeka Public Schools because she was a part of it. She was a student at the time. She graduated from Topeka High. She became a teacher, and now she is an outstanding principal at Highland Park High School. To tell you a funny story. She gave a presentation similar to this to Scott Elementary, and Patrick at Scott Dual Language Magnet, another sign of how we respect equity in this community. Patrick Woods, I think he's in the crowd here somewhere, his daughter saw the presentation. Later on in the week, they were reading a little book at home about Rosa Parks, and his daughter became outraged because that wasn't Rosa Parks in that book, because she knew who the real Rosa convincing she is as an actress. She's extremely talented. But I have to tell you that Rosa Parks, or Beryl New, is actually probably the one that got the saying that I think we need to use more in Topeka, and that's Topeka Proud. She kept saying that over at the commencement speech when our First Lady was here. And we are Topeka Proud, and we're Topeka Proud of Beryl New, or Rosa Parks.
Thank you, Dr. Ford, and thank you for inviting me to spend a moment with Miss Rosa Parks and you. All my life, I was taught to believe that each person must live their life as a model for others. That is what we are born to do, to be servants, not menial or slave-like, but to give to others and to show love in all we say and do. That way, those who have not been taught to love or feel or care or respect learn how to do those things through the example we show them. I was taught that love conquers all. But what I was not taught was that love hurts. Yes, it can warm like a soft blanket, but it can also cut like an ice-cold knife. Have you ever been hurt and the place tries to heal a bit and you just pull the scab off of it over and over again? When you were unconsciously pulling off that scab, did you realize how vulnerable and tender the skin underneath it was? How unprepared it was for exposure to the harsh elements that would hurt it over again? No, because the drive to toughen it through exposure to the burning sun or the freezing cold was a compulsion to prepare that area, no matter how cruel it seems, for survival. And that's love. That is why my mama taught me to take that sassing from that white woman who ran the floor at that shirt factory in Montgomery. I needed that seamstress job to take care of her and my grandmama. So I sucked up a smile and spit out a yes ma'am and survived to work another day. But that is also why my granddaddy showed me how to stand on the porch and watch a parade of Klansmen in front of our house, holding a shotgun in his hand, but never firing a shot, so that he could continue to keep meat on the table and a roof over our heads and some pride in our hearts. Every time I would just think about these things, I would find a scab pinched between my shaking fingers and wonder one more time why I just couldn't heal, just couldn't let myself heal. Now, please don't feel sorry for me, and don't you dare be angry with those who haven't yet learned what God is love really means. They haven't killed me yet, and I haven't killed them either. Truth be told, I do the very best I can to look upon life with optimism and hope and looking forward to a better day. But I don't think there's anything such as complete happiness. It pains me that there is still a lot of Klan activity and racism. I think when you say you're happy, you have everything that you need and everything that you want and nothing more to wish for. I haven't reached that stage yet. Every time I see a young person being attacked by a policeman's dog just because he or she wants a cool sip of Coca-Cola at a 5 and dime counter, just like their own kid might want, I know I can't be happy. I can't be happy when my heroes, preachers like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Reverend Jose Williams, and that young man, Brother Julian Bond, when they keep getting punched and beat up and arrested like as if they were common criminals, when all they are trying to do and tell us to do is keep showing the love of God and ask for change in a peaceful way, when they are treated wrong for doing right, I can't be happy. Maybe you can, but I'm not there yet. One morning, I woke up and realized that I cannot be held accountable for anyone's actions but my own. I can choose to remain silent, and I can choose to speak. I can choose to hide, and I can choose to step forward. I can choose to stand up, and so I chose to sit down. And once I sat, I knew I was standing up. Standing up for those children at the lunch counter. Standing up for my preachers. Standing up for my mama and my daddy. Standing up for myself. Was I afraid of getting beat up? For a moment. But I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear. Somebody asked me later if I wasn't embarrassed to be all on the news and in the papers like that. Me, a black woman, a common seamstress, a nobody. Why not Mrs. King, they asked. Everybody saw her on the front lines, walking arm in arm with her husband. She was somebody. Who was I? I couldn't think of an answer to their question. But the words that inspired me that day continued in my mind. This was the moment for someone to take a stand against injustice. This was the moment in which I was the one. That day, at that hour, on that bus, I knew someone had to take the first step, and I made up my mind not to move. Little did I know that historians would record me as the match that lit the pathway to freedom. Nobody asked me if I wanted to get the credit or the blame for starting that fire. True, I knew something had to be done. I knew that it could be me, but I didn't know for certain how things would turn out. But I'm glad I could do something to change the direction of our state and our country. And as I look back, I guess I am glad that it was me. Someone else may not have been mad enough, or brave enough, or crazy enough to hold on to her seat and not give in. It was not prearranged. It just happened that the driver made a demand, and I just didn't feel like obeying his demand. I was quite tired after spending a full day working. You know, he caught me at that just right time, and I could not help myself. That must have been some of my grandmama in me, you know. He must have gotten just a little too close to that throbbing bunion. Truth be told, I'm not mad nor crazy, and certainly not brave. I'm just a common human being who cares about all other humans. In fact, if historians want to record anything about me, let them record that I would like to be known as a person who is concerned about freedom and equality and justice and prosperity for all people. I think back on that December day and the days and years that followed. My cherished visits with Dr. King and Mrs. King, meeting the presidents, fiercely embracing the young people, our tears mingling on one another's cheeks, walking in the marches, dressing up for the soirees, standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial, sharing my stories at peaceful gatherings, revisiting the strong emotions of that day in respite, in conversations, in nightmares. Just another task in my life's day of work, comforted with the knowledge that memories of our lives, of our works, and our deeds will continue in others. Did I plan to be a martyr when I boarded the bus that evening? No. My only concern was to get home after a hard day's work. When I claimed that unoccupied seat and refused the man who tried to wrest it from me, was I trying to start a fight? No. I just knew deep in my soul that our mistreatment was just not right, and I was tired of it. I had paid an equal fare. I deserved equal treatment. Was I a selfish black pickaninny who didn't know her place and wanted to set a dangerous example for them black folks standing up at the back of the bus? Possibly. But whatever my individual desires were to be free, I was not alone. There were many others who felt the same way. You know, looking back, I can't really even use the excuse of being tired. The only tired I was tired of giving in. Thank you, Miss Rosa, for not just giving in.